Today I'm talking with Ben Fitts. Ben runs homebusinessblogs.com, a popular destination for network marketers and MLM training. Ben was ranked on that MLM Beats Top 50 Blogs of 2010. He's authored numerous ebooks and other publications on network marketing. Ben, thanks for joining me this morning. Would you give a quick introduction and talk about how you made your way into the network marketing industry?
Sure. I was exposed to it actually as a kid. My dad tried a couple, MLMs. So when I was exposed to it later on in college, it made sense to me. But I, being in college, being a tech geek, I thought I was going to go work in the dot-com era, and I thought I was going to be a, dot-com millionaire. I started my own internet provider. I did a whole bunch of things related to that. And I kept getting laid off. I mean, I was like the model employee working 60 to 80-hour weeks. And I even, during deadlines, I would sleep at the office so much that they bought me one of those AeroBed air mattresses to sleep on the floor at the office. And my boss would sleep on the couch, and he and I would work overnight, and we'd sleep for a few hours and get up and work the next day. And needless to say, I was a newlywed. That didn't go over real well with my wife. So what ended up happening was the dot-com bubble burst. They laid off everybody. And so I thought about MLM again. I thought about those little checks that I had made before. I knew it could work if I put my mind to it. And so I went looking for something better. And I was able to do it for a few years part-time. And then I was able to leave my job. And this is what I do now full-time, right here in my home office.
All right. The first time you showed up on my radar was a post you wrote as a guest blogger on that MLM beat entitled, "Why You Should Not Use Your MLM Company's Website." You have a strong background in internet marketing and obviously a tech background, so this seems to go against what most people would think as what you would stand behind and what you would believe in. Was there a specific event that inspired you to write this piece or to have these feelings about replicated websites?
Well, this actually was my first posting at that MLM beat. I'm going to be posting there on a weekly basis. So I wanted to give people sort of a background for my training that's going to come later, which is, as you guys know, if you want to get rankings in Google, you can't use the same website that everybody else is using because Google sees that as a duplicate content. And just having your name be different or your photo be different or your phone number, that's not enough to encourage Google. So for me personally, if you were to Google the company name that I'm in, I'm one of the top ranking people for my company name on the internet. And I get a lot of leads from it. And a lot of people want to know how I do it. Well, the first thing is you can't use your company's generic website. I mean, people may not know this, but I could go start an MLM company today, and I can go to a software vendor, and they'll provide the back office software that does the tracking of your downline and commissions and everything, and they'll throw in a website. Well, that website isn't necessarily, it's a boilerplate cookie cutter website. It's also not necessarily even good at marketing, So I think it's real important if people want to be successful on the internet that they have their own personal site. And you might even want to start developing your own brand. I developed my own brand as well. So that way, heaven forbid, you do move to another company, you've been developing your brand the whole time too, not just the company. So there's tons of reasons. Basically, if you're going to market on the internet, you need your own website.
Right. So, that's talking about SEO and how that's valuable for search engines. The real core for me of that post you wrote was about maybe more like autoresponders or a strong call to action. That's what is the conversion is really about. So how is that affecting the current state of replicated websites?
Well, I love my company. Believe me, I love it. But here is what happens when you go to my company website. You get a 15-minute video, then you get a live demo, and you have to go all the way to the end of the live demo before you put in your contact information. So the good thing is the people that have put in their contact information are very qualified, but what about the 90% of people that visit my website and they don't put in their contact information? They don't get all the way through the video. They don't get all the way through the demo. The kids interrupt them. They have technical challenges on their computer. So I have no clue that those people visited my website. So you need, at first you get your own website. Then you start to develop the things like you're talking about, the call to action, your own little mailing list, whether or not you're just borrowing articles that other people write and you're reposting them or whatever, you start developing your own brand also as an expert so that people want to join you. So I'm with you 100% on that. And in most of our company websites, I mean, if you go to these nutritional websites and stuff, most of them are shopping carts. But there's no way to follow up with those people if they don't purchase. They don't have a newsletter at all. They don't have an autoresponder. They don't have a way for you to build yourself up as an expert. And so I agree with you that that's a real important key to being able to follow up with your prospects over and over and over, and you'll get more sales, obviously, as a result.
So referring to those 90% that maybe didn't make it to your autoresponder or couldn't get through the video, maybe something like the proper analytics could solve that problem. Is that something that you feel like is lacking as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my company, I have no idea. I have no idea. There's no analytics whatsoever. I don't know how many people visited my website, where they came from, what keywords they might have used. I don't know any of that stuff. And that's also becomes really important when you start to invest money in your business. When you start to buy advertising, you really, really, really want to know this is exactly where these people are coming from, so that way you can reinvest that money in the ads that work and not reinvest it in the ads that don't work.
Right. So without naming any names or pointing any fingers, is there something that you can recall as a replicated website or a distributor website that just really stood out in your mind as extremely problematic?
Well, I really couldn't, I mean, most of them. Let's just put it that way. I mean, honestly, most of them, if you look at them, most of our companies aren't run by internet marketing people. I mean, my company, I love them, but a lot of the staff isn't internet marketing focused, and they might come from a more traditional world of network marketing where you do one-on-ones and you play the DVD and that kind of stuff, or you do big presentations. They might not be aware of some of the tricks and strategies for internet marketing. So honestly, most company websites, I mean, there's a few that are good, but they're primarily internet-based opportunities, and they're run by people who know internet marketing. And I mean, you can tell right away because they have an opt-in box to capture people's names and an autoresponder, and they have a way to track how many people are visiting your website, how many sales you're getting. But there's only a few. I mean, I would say the majority of MLM companies don't do that, or it's like an add-on, to their existing offering. Like most of them don't offer that.
So keeping in mind the problems we've talked about, what would, maybe walk me through what you think would be the ideal replicated website to give a new distributor as soon as they come on?
Well, the ideal website would be something that they can personalize a bit, because personalization is going to be a key to getting some rankings in the search engines. It should have a way to capture the contact of the information of the person who comes to the site. Preferably, it should, the ideal replicated website would offer some sort of incentive, a special report or, some email series or something to get them to opt in to that list. That will improve your conversions. And then you need a way to track. You need a way to track your results and see what's working and what's not working. And you need to train people on how to use that, because most people don't know internet marketing. So, you teach them how to market, how to market on Facebook, how to get rankings in Google and do article marketing or blogging or different things like that. You got to sort of expose them to some of these concepts. That would be the ideal site, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like a lot of distributors are coming from, the older world before they were working online, and they're trying to adjust their old way of face-to-face network marketing onto the internet. It's not really working for them. So yeah, that kind of training is something that's talked about a lot, and making sure people know the guidelines and the rules. And I know that that's one thing that a lot of these companies design their replicated sites around is compliance. Would you have any advice on making sure people are using the web, using these tools, but also remaining compliant?
Well, I mean, obviously the most important thing is to check with your company and check with what their policies and procedures are. Most companies have a compliance policy. They have a compliance officer you can submit your website for approval to. Um, so, in terms of compliance, there's a few things that are probably going to help you. I mean, you're going to need like a privacy policy. If you're talking about compensation, you need a disclaimer for that. There's a few different things like that that anybody can do on a replicated website that will help a lot with compliance. But some companies may have their own policy. Like, I mean, I know companies that you can't mention the company name on a website. You have to promote it generically, and then after the person opts in, you can maybe mention the company name that you're involved with. And so that's something you really need to be careful of. I mean, when you get to my level, you get to deal with compliance a lot. You get to deal with a lot of people that are kind of jealous of what you're doing, and so you have to make sure you really follow that compliance, to the T.